Hey, this is Dan Kunes. Welcome to the Kunes Car Convos. Today we'll be driving around with Miss Wisconsin USA contestant Nicole Petrie, and we will be in a 2024 GMC Denali 1500 Sierra. I am Danny Kunes with Kunes Auto Group, and we are here doing a car convo today with the future hopeful Miss Wisconsin, right?
Miss Wisconsin USA, yes.
Miss Wisconsin USA. So her name is Nicole Petrie, and we just have some questions and some things to talk about that I know are important to her, and the driving force and why she's doing it, and how her passion aligns with the Kunes family passion as far as, you know, community, faith, things like that for us, and obviously for her. So we'll go with question number one. When did you start doing pageants, and how did you get interested in them?
I have only done one other pageant before, and it was 10 years ago. It was the same pageant, Miss Wisconsin USA.
Oh, so you've done it?
Yeah. So it was 2014, and I was just straight out of high school. I got flyer in the mail from the organization just looking for girls to submit and
try it.
Yeah, so I decided to give it a try, see if I liked it, see if pageants were something that I was interested in, and my mom was a big help in getting me ready for that pageant, and
she loved it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a great experience for us to prepare for together, and I decided at the time that I wanted to go more of the modeling route, so after that pageant I didn't consider going into any others. So the past 10 years I've been modeling, and recently after I did Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition.
You did that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 2022. I did that, and then one of my agents asked me if I would be interested in doing pageants again, because my platform, raising awareness for frontotemporal dementia, pageantry is a great way to raise awareness for any issue or concern that you may have, and that's one that I'm definitely trying to raise more awareness from.
Well, that, with obviously social media, how big that is, and all of your followers, I know you have a ton of followers.
Yeah.
You're good at that stuff. I've looked at some of your stuff. You definitely are talented in that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. Walk us through the process of getting pageant ready. How long does it take?
I started preparing pretty much since the last Miss USA aired. I had a good friend that was Miss Oregon 2023.
Wow.
And so I saw her competing in the Miss USA pageant, and she's an extremely impressive woman that I definitely look up to. I'm inspired by her. Her name is Manju Bangalore.
How'd you meet her?
She was also in Sports Illustrated.
Oh, she was?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we did Sports Illustrated together, and then I saw her compete, and after my agents had told me I should give it a try as well, and seeing her, I was like, okay, this is definitely something I want to do. So a little under a year I've been preparing, and it's a lot of mental preparation, but also physical preparation.
I was going to ask that, is it more, what's the stressful part? I mean, obviously, you know, physical condition, mental, but what's like really the nuts and bolts to it for you?
Well, for me, I've been preparing the most for interview and onstage question. The other two portions of competition are swimsuit and evening gown, and because I have all of my modeling experience, I'm not too worried about those portions.
Yep.
And in modeling, I don't have to do a lot of speaking, so
Yeah, no,
I've definitely been practicing that the most.
Are you nervous about that?
I was, but I've been working with coaches and
Good.
practicing on my own, and I've become a lot more confident in it, so I'm ready.
Good, so you're set.
Yeah.
What's it look like as far as how long it takes? I mean, obviously I know you've been doing it for over a year, but you know, physical conditioning, exercise, all that stuff. Obviously the mental portion of it is probably just as grueling, but you know, when do you start preparing, and when does it, like, I guess the best time to start?
I would say that my physical fitness and my routine with that started probably about 6 months ago. Getting really focused and intense the last couple of months here, and we have about 3 weeks to go, so now I'm starting to do 2 times a day in the gym and really focus on clean eating and
I figure that's when it really starts to get crunch time. It's not for the faint of heart, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's very similar to competing in sports.
Yeah. Why do you want to be the next Miss Wisconsin USA?
The main reason that I'm competing is for my mom, who was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia about 10 years ago. And my father and I have been her primary caregivers that entire time. She still lives at home with us, which we're really grateful for. And Miss Wisconsin USA is providing a platform for me to talk about this, raise awareness for FTD, and really start to get the support for the families that are affected by it here in Wisconsin. So one of the main goals that I have as Miss Wisconsin USA would be talking to our state legislators to get an FTD registry put in place, which would help us to finally know exactly who and how many people are affected by FTD in our state. And then also having Wisconsin be one of the first states to recognize World FTD Awareness Week, which would just, it would just bring a lot of awareness to the people in our state and then hopefully start a chain reaction within other states as well.
Obviously, I didn't know anything about that disease up until I read your story and or why you're doing this. And it's, the fact that people, I know there's a lot of sicknesses, illnesses, diseases out there that people have no idea even exist. And but as I'm sure you know, it affects more people than people think.
Yes. Yeah. So FTD is considered a rare form of dementia, but it is the most common form of dementia in people under 60 years old.
Okay.
And like you and many other people, my family had no idea what FTD was until my mom got her diagnosis. And that's a scary position to be in. And so the awareness around the disease is also just to hopefully have people know about the disease before they get the diagnosis so that they can have a better idea and understanding of what's to come. And so that they can plan for that. But yeah, there's definitely many more people here in our state and around the world that are affected by this, that feel isolated and alone because there isn't that general awareness, and there is not enough awareness even within the medical community because there are many doctors who don't know about this disease and don't know how to treat it.
And I know the caregiving for it is definitely not an easy thing. It's something that requires basically 24/7
Yeah, absolutely.
care, and it's, again, without the, I know there's no real cure for dementia or anything like that, or even more so that, but and I think with the awareness, what does it look like for you to have, more of an awareness throughout the world or the country? Is it for more help? Is it to help families, or what's...
Yeah, I would say all of the above. I mean, like I said, the awareness of just knowing what the disease is going to help families who are going through it. But then that awareness also leads to more funding, which leads to more research, and then hopefully one day a cure, or at least some sort of treatment that will make a real difference within these people's lives who are living with FTD. Because right now, even the treatments that are available are just addressing the symptoms, not necessarily the cause. So you can have anti-anxiety medications or antidepressant medications, but none of it is addressing the actual degeneration of the brain.
More or less just being able to cope with it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I think in your story, it touched a lot of people that read it, especially within our organization and my family.
Yes.
We talked about how your dad coaches some of our daughters in volleyball, which is awesome. His commitment and dedication to that, I think, says something about you and your family, that he's able to take that time to help, do what he loves, but then also help other kids, help other families get into, volleyball, or whether it's collegiate or high school or club. But he's been an inspiration for sure, my daughter, my brother's daughters, and I know a lot of the other girls on the team, and but I know he also, so basically he says you're a huge part of him being able to do that.
Yeah.
So I know you guys are both your mom's caregivers.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about you guys, both, that you could chase, the dreams or aspirations, or even allowing you guys to do the things that you love. And that's what, to us, that kind of tight-knit family closeness, even in the eyes of adversity or the sickness and illness, it was definitely important for us to help in whatever way we can, help you bring more awareness to it, and whatever that looks like for us. So we're definitely happy to be a partner with you and help you on your journey.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, my dad has definitely passed that trait on to me, I think, in trying to give back in any way that we can. And I think it's really important that he has volleyball and he has that passion outside of the house. And that's another reason why I'm competing in the pageant, is not only for myself to have something outside the house to focus on and really put my energy towards, but I want to encourage other caregivers and anyone who's going through adversity, that you still have to take that time for yourself and focus on your needs and wants and
self-care.
Yeah, exactly. That self-care is what allows you to be the best caregiver to your person. So
that's great. That's again, kind of in your story, that's we all felt that read it. So there's a lot to be said about that, as far as self-care, chasing your dreams, even when other things aren't going your way.
Yes.
To push through, not just for your family's sake or your mom's sake, but for yourself. I think that'll help show a lot of people different sides of it, rather than just you being Miss Wisconsin or Reg or whatever you might about to be. But so that's awesome. So thank you for doing that. I think that's definitely an inspiration for a lot of people. Any tips or advice you want to give for pageant participants competing for Miss Wisconsin / Miss USA?
I would say that being yourself, obviously, is the big part of it, and going into the competition, being able to be vulnerable and really relate to the judges and to the people of Wisconsin, because they want somebody that is relatable and empathetic and can be understanding to many different people's situations. And I think that is a strength that I have this year. They recently opened up the age requirements and age limits. So anybody can compete in Miss Wisconsin USA that is over 18 years old. And so that's why I'm able to compete this year. I'm 29 and the old age limit was 27. So
okay, so that's great.
So yeah, I'm able to compete this year because of the new rules, and I think it's amazing for me because I have all of these years of experience in my modeling career, in my caregiving, and just in my personal life that are able to give me a firsthand perspective into many different walks of life and different situations. And I think that makes me a good queen for Miss Wisconsin USA.
That's a good thing to say.
I guess, because and I love being able just to talk to people and really relate to what they're going through.
Yeah, and I think bring, in my opinion, I'm sure people have doubts about starting or wanting to do something like this, because it's I think sounds like kind of a bigger, maybe scary type of thing. So for any younger girls, or even girls that now are older, or think that maybe they missed that, or I think that's awesome for you at 29 years old to chase that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of my big life mottos is that everybody's on a different path, and our timing is all different. For a long time, especially in my college years, when I was figuring out what I wanted to study, what I wanted to do with my life, and at the same time my mom was going through the first stages of her diagnosis, I felt really behind compared to all of my peers, because they knew what they wanted to do. They were already starting to graduate, get jobs, and were really clear on their path, but for me it wasn't so clear at the time, and I wish I could go back and tell myself, just be patient, everything's going to fall into place, it's going to be okay, everybody's on a different path.
But there's a plan out there. Yeah, that's I think that sort of advice, which I think everybody falls into the same things. It's the American dream, if you will, of go to college, get a job, marry, kids, all that, what people think are the next right steps to have. And I don't think anybody needs to be in any rush for anything, and or look back in life and have any sort of regrets, because like you said, the different paths, the different timing.
Yeah, I think especially being from a small town in Wisconsin, there is a lot of that pressure just to go down that route of college, married, kids, and for me, I wanted to explore more of the world. I traveled for a while after I graduated college, and I had lots of amazing life experiences that I would have regretted not taking if I had just stayed here. But it was a beautiful place to end up, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm also grateful for the life experiences that I've had, for sure.
Yeah, it makes you well-rounded. I think it helps in your journey of offering up people advice, or in your story, that all that stuff is obtainable to just because you went and traveled, or just because you went to college, or just doesn't mean that, or like you said, just because you live in a small town in Wisconsin, that you can't think at a bigger spectrum, a worldly spectrum.
Yeah, that's something that I've always kind of had within me. It was just like this reach for more, I guess. Especially when I decided I wanted to take modeling seriously as a career. There were many, many people in my life who said, that's a 1 in a million chance. It doesn't happen to many people, and it's going to be really hard. And my mindset has always been, why couldn't I be that one?
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
You never know unless you try, and you have to put yourself out there.
And, look at you now. That's a great testament, or a great story to, if you don't take those risks, if you don't push that little bit, or to have that mindset of, I can do this. It sounds, in my opinion, for me, that you're certainly not afraid to fail.
Well, no.
It would suck. It's a lot of hard work. It's this or that, but at the end of the day, you have a dream, you have something you want to bring awareness to, and failures are part of life. Those kind of things happen. To just keep pushing through and keep going after that. Again, regardless of your experience, whether it's worldly, small town, it can happen.
Yeah, and the impact doesn't have to be 1 million followers on TikTok or Miss Wisconsin USA. There are many different ways that you can make an impact within your community, or within just your family, within your circle of friends. And I think that is an important thing to focus on, is just making sure that you're giving back to others.
I think so too. I think if you could, with our family and our organization, if you could impact one person, obviously you'd like to impact as many as possible, whether it's business, religious, family things, work, different opportunities for people. But if you can impact one person, it's usually worth doing in a positive way. So that's awesome. I think we definitely align there. All right, Nicole, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I hope we get to do more in the future. I think your goal is awesome, and would love to be a part of it and help you get there. So other than that, I think good luck on becoming the next Miss Wisconsin USA.
Thank you.
You're welcome.